We want you to feel immersed and feel like you're really on Pandora. So it was never really a big discussion for us.
Here we go again, with developers telling us the reason they created a game was due to quote-unquote immersion. Immersion is subjective, and I wish developers would stop using this excuse as to why they create a game in first person. If you're a creative director and you think it's more immersive for a game to be in first person, that doesn't mean the audience you're catering to is going to agree with you. And boom, what do you know? All of the comments flood in. It cemented the fact that developers need to stop pretending that this first versus third issue is not a big deal when it completely is. You are creating games for people to be immersed in. Immersion is more than just staring at a screen through your eyes at a gun that does this. Pew 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 pew. Reload. I mean, come on. Look, and I understand. I have these discussions with people in my community. I cannot agree with the first person versus third person argument and first person being more immersive. Why? Because to me, immersion comes from seeing the avatar move. The creation of the animations, the transitions to crouch, to prone, to running, to jumping, to swinging, to climbing, to swimming, all of that you see. Horizon, the Horizon series with Aloy, Tomb Raider, the Ghost Recon games that I cover on this channel, all the RPGs, God of War, and Ghost of Tsushima, Assassin's Creed, all of these games that I play in the Hitman series, they all have their way of expressing their gameplay through the eyes of the character that you're controlling. And I am no less immersed because I see the character on the screen. I am less immersed when I don't see the character on the screen and all I see is a stupid gun bouncing up and down. That's it. That's all I see. Pew 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 pew. Reload. I'm not shitting on game developers. They're geniuses. These guys work hard. Each and every one of them. I understand. I completely get it. Where's I going with that? Pew 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 pew. But when you create these beautiful animations and gunplay and shoulder swapping, something like Ghost of Tsushima that's not even a shooter, the sword play and the movements of Jin Sakai, all the different stances that you go through, that's way better for me than, let's say, seeing all of that in first and all you see is your hand do this in the front of the screen. Reload. I'm sorry. You give me a development team that's willing to sit there and motion capture and tweak and keyframe all these specific animations and transitions between them all and put that into a game in front of me, I am going to be way more immersed in that game seeing that third person view. Now I understand these guys, they might be first person fans and so they wanted to make the game in first person, but they're wrong. And I can be biased, but I believe that the community has spoken. I am not the only one. 777 comments. The majority of these comments are people like me. I want game developers to hire the best animators they can and make the best animations and the best gameplay they can with a third person avatar. That's what gets me going in games. That's what keeps me immersed. But the fact that this guy says it wasn't really even a big discussion for us.
We want you to feel immersed and feel like you're really on Pandora. So it was never really a big discussion for us.
Well, yeah, maybe it should have been. Maybe this should have been the main discussion. Hey, what is our audience going to want? What is the core audience who's going to play this game going to want? You have people for the last 10 years saying they wanted another Avatar game ever since the last one, ever since the first movie that brought this huge franchise to the big screens, and they wanted a new game with modern day graphics. How no one thought no one would have a problem with it being in first person when the old one was in third, it's beyond me. People are going to wholeheartedly disagree with this take. Assassin's Creed is immersive. The Arkham games are immersive. Spider-Man is immersive. This should have been third person for the bigger, wider, more free camera. And to add the animations that go with that for swinging, climbing, crouching, crawling, flying, jumping. The parkour in this game could have been so amazing. Running through this game world in third person could have been absolutely beautiful, and you killed it with the first person perspective. You destroyed this IP from the very onset when you decided first person is the way to go. And I will forever hold this type of opinion, even though it may be biased. I will die on this hill. The third person experience is way more immersive than anything a first person game can provide.
Pew 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 pew. Reload.
I just never understood the argument that first person equals more immersion. There are plenty of third person games that feel amazing and are just as immersive as any first person game. Being able to see your characters model armor and clothing, watching them interact with the NPCs and environments is way more immersive. That's what a lot of people like myself and others think. The real reason, down to the nitty gritty, is why it's in first person is because it's a huge corner to cut. Not having to do the animations in third person. If it was truly first person free immersion, the game would have been a VR option from the very beginning. And that's something James Cameron would have pushed for, someone who is so into pushing the boundaries of what entertainment provides for the customer. And now, like I said in my previous video when I covered this topic, we are just going to get a far cry with blue people. I mean, although at the end of the day, this is all opinionated, can you really argue with the fact that first person is always the easy way out? It takes a huge chunk out of the production process, eliminating hundreds or maybe even thousands of hours of AAA mocap, detailing the main characters, pixel density, character models, and subsequently all possible pieces of customization and animations. Also throws cover shooting, parkour, and more right out the window. The right way to go is what Horizon did. Their main games in third person and only spin-off VR is in first person. Third person games, to me, are more personal and more immersive because when my character reacts to the environment, whether getting shot at or expressing emotion through movement and body language, that's a more immersive connection than first person that connects me to my character and makes me care more. How can you argue with this type of reasoning? How can you debate and sit there and say, no, because we're seeing through the eyes, it's more immersive?
Pew 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 pew.
It's complete BS. It's malarkey. It's just a way to cut down on development costs and time. In my opinion, Massive dropped the ball with this game. This game would have been a home run if the majority of the development process went into creating an amazing third-person parkour experience on Pandora. I don't know. I'm fucking tired.